Uh, it is about to go live.
Okay, perfect. Oops, this trick. There we are. We are live. Sorry about that, everybody. We were having some difficulties. Good morning. Good morning. I just want to say thank you for everyone joining today. Thank you for everyone watching the replays. Thank you for all the wonderful guest speakers. This is day 7. We started day 1 on October 1st, and every day we've been focusing on a chakra and just really going deep in conversation about that chakra and how it affects us as healers, and how also for people that don't think they're healers, knowing that they are healers also, and that this is helpful for them. I was just telling my co-host here, and a story of a client, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna hear this because she's been watching them. She's like, I'm not a healer, but I've been just really enjoying these. I feel like a spy just watching these, and it was just so cute seeing her innocence like a child in a toy store, just like, whoa, all these new toys. And it was like I said, it was a great affirmation. It was a great message I received from her yesterday. And just knowing that to come in with this with wonder always, that innocence, that wanting to seek and see what's going on. And so it was really nice. So with that, I want to go ahead and just get started. I want everyone just to sit down, feet flat on the floor, relax your body. Everyone take nice 3 deep belly breaths. Now I want you all to imagine this beautiful crown. It doesn't really sit on your head, it hovers above you like a halo, an angel's halo. And it not only circles clockwise, but it just opens up. Almost like when we see those beautiful lights that come up from the ground and go way up, shoot up to the sky. So just imagine this beautiful white tunnel, light going straight up to our higher source. And with every sound and with every breath, make it circulate brighter. Add some glitter to it, healing glitter. Add some gold to it. Gold is very healing in the chakra. And with every breath, clear out whatever feels like doesn't belong there. Okay. I would like to have everyone just take another 3 deep belly breaths as you come back. So, a little about us. I am Rebecca, my husband JB, and together we form Dual Dragons. We are holistic wellness consultants, also known as the Muscle Whisperers. And we do many, not only physical healing, but also emotional, energetic healing. We have many tools. I like to think of us like construction workers with this belt of tools. So we use many modalities to be able to give our clients the results that they need. And about this crown chakra, again, this is one that I love to connect to when we're doing our healing sessions. I like to, when we work on clients, but this is me personally, what I do to prepare is I always imagine my feet as the roots of a tree to ground myself and receive energy from the core of our earth, our Mother Earth, and keep me grounded. But at the same time, I like to shoot up my crown chakra and just be able to receive, be open and receive whatever message I need to receive to be able to help this person transition or heal, or however I need to facilitate the client. And so this is one I use a lot, like I mentioned yesterday, and also my third eye. And what we're going to be talking about is ascension, the higher self. What are we doing today to ascend for tomorrow? So this is something, how I wanted to end it is, what are we doing today to ascend for tomorrow? And I got that message yesterday with my client. It was so interesting the way she was just talking about how, she's been watching each one and just seeing me blossom and seeing me just really tap into my gift, and how she was just enjoying each day watching these, and how it's helping her, and how she sees this growing into this. She goes, I could see this growing into a huge empire. She goes, I don't know what you're doing, but it's something big. And just hearing her tell me all these things, I knew that was a message. And I knew that was my answer of, what am I doing today to ascend for tomorrow? And then my answer is like, you're doing it. You're doing it. And like she said, even as overwhelming it might come, don't quit. And that was my other answer. However big this grows, however I feel responsible or like this weight, just know that there's a purpose to continue and to let it grow and not quit. Just want to take a deep breath with that one.
Been an awesome experience to see my wife step forward, not just as an amazing soulmate, as an amazing wife, but within herself, for herself. And it's very fascinating to finally, at least for myself, speaking for myself, it's to find someone to really help me look in the mirror and question myself, to challenge my truth that I held on to let it go. Or in other words, remove those weeds that no longer serve my garden, to allow me to grow, to to understand what love is for me, to understand what is an aspect of my ego's perception versus what is my true self and what I'm seeing here and what I'm really presenting myself to the people around me, to my family, to my friends. And it's been a journey. And ever since we met, we never been, I'm the man, I'm the head of the household, and you kind of do what I say. We never fell into that kind of society trap of how they educate or simulate the people's role. We just flow. There's times where I just kind of start cleaning and organizing the kitchen, and then she start cooking, and we start cooking together, or laundry, any of those aspects that we take turns. I drive, she relaxes, or she'll drive, I relax. In different aspects of our lives, we are able to dance. We take classes, she'll lead, she'll able to interpret notes that I might have missed, and vice versa. When we leverage each other's strength, we recognize each other's weakness, and we find the appropriate time to challenge it with questions versus statements. Statements I recognize will allow me to, all right, got to pick up the mirror and look at myself, got to step out of myself and look at myself to within. The questions allow me to challenge my mind, to allow my mind and heart connection. How could we grow? And obviously one will not work without the other. And this journey that we've been on, and we've been very fortunate to connect with the wonderful Janet Whitener, our host today, our guest speaker, because that even opened up another possibility that we never thought of. I knew for a while that I was supposed to be meant to work with someone, but to find my soulmate and to have that confirmation recently before we launched this wonderful series, not just for ourselves, but for you healers that are listening, for you that are live. It's, I only can express, I still have at the moment, I can sense that part of me, my ego trying to suppress the emotion, just something that I've been used to for so long. And just kind of, rather than fight it, just breathe into it, receive the vibrations of these wonderful healing bowls. And that even has a story of its own, how we came across that, just to be aware.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Just, going back to Janet, we have collaborated. It's not just us dual dragons, but we've also done healing sessions with Janet, and being able to dance and flow with what she brings with Errol. But during those sessions, we've been mostly with the chief. And it was just, I was like in awe, like my client yesterday, when that guide came through and when he was talking to me and guiding me and teaching me, I was in awe, like that child in that toy store, like, wow, like, and those sessions, like I said, it's not just for the client, but it's for us too. And just dancing with Janet and the guides and, with this client and everything that would come out of those sessions and what we would learn and continue ascending, continue growing, continue, we're all part of that higher source. For some reason, we lose sight. We see ourselves like so far away from it when it's just like right there. It's like in every, like even as a child, I remember as a child, sometimes when my parent would be driving me to something exciting or new, and I would open that window and just feel that breeze or receive those new smells. And what is that? Where are we going? And that's being part of that higher source, is being able to connect to all that is brought to us to be able to experience on this world. So I always have those, I always have those, JB.
And also staying connected to yourself, not really letting yourself or your mind wander, just being what people will call grounded.
Yes. So,
Definitely recognizing that. Like something we've been watching recently have shared a message that as we go through life and we have those moments of deja vu, it is those moments that we have almost like a fork in the road. We could ascend to a higher vibration where the options are much more enjoyable, or we could descend to stay in a lower frequency. And that's when you have those like kind of, not say dizzy spells, just those deja vu moments. Something else, I made a different choice another time. But be assertive and be comfortable and confident. The choice you made is the best choice. It's just a choice. And of course, the opportunities is up to you to receive that lesson or that experience of your higher self in that moment.
so with that, I want to talk a little bit more about Janice. She's a spiritual life coach. She channels arrows and others. I know of the chief. I don't know how many others, Janet, but I know those are the two I've been blessed to be able to speak with, and and just be in their presence. And I love this little saying, all I am becoming requires all that I have been. I love that. I got that from her card. And like I said, whenever you get a chance to experience a moment with Janet, it's
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 speechless.
it's
You
I know. I'm like, I have no words.
just
It's,
have to experience it
you
when
have
you.
to experience it. But with that, I just want to go ahead and hand it over now to Janet. And so enjoy, everyone.
Janet, one more thing. Just make sure you shift over to the speaker view. If not, it's going to keep in gallery and people on Facebook will not be able to enjoy and experience your message.
And I'm going to stop sharing.
Got that? Looks right, JB. I can see a bunch of little boxes. All right. I'm good with a lot of things. I'm still not as technically able as so many people. Thank God you're out there. I've worked as a channel pretty much my whole life, but it's really started when I was about 19. I couldn't find comfort with it. And then in about 1980, somewhere in the mid 80s, I started finding other people that were interested in channeling, and I actually found a teacher. And from there, everything just took off. And for me, the work with spirit is always about healing self. All healers that I work with, the ones that I channel, and the other physical healers that come through, their very first statement is always, this healing is for you, and then sharing it with the others around you. And at first I thought, am I that broken? Like every single entity, every single, this channeling's for you. It's like, wait, what? But what they're really trying to get me to understand is that this old modality of thinking that as a healer, I go and find a broken person and lift them to a higher place is an illusion. That how healing truly works on the vibrational level, yes, is that I maintain my vibration of unconditional love, or as high as I can hold, and that invites the person to make the choices that are going to lift them up to meet that vibration. And then when we meet, we can talk about they're they're surrounded in my energy, they're surrounded in the energy of the healers that I work with. So we have a space in that where they're kind of suspended from their old thinking and their old patterns. And we have a chance to talk about undoing that, making different choices, making a new pattern. And it's just incredible, the things that I've witnessed. I'm always humbled when I do healing work, because there is no, I don't even consider having a limit anymore because of the things I've seen. So it's always about understanding that I'm a cog in a machine. And when I finally got that concept, my channeling changed profoundly, because I'm a conduit. That's what a channel is. I'm a pipeline. And my job is to keep that pipeline clear. And the clearer I am in terms of my vibration, then the more energy they can bring into this three-dimensional hologram Earth, and the more their vibration can impact people. So with that happy thought, I'm going to get out of the way and let spirit come through. And usually the spirit that comes through is my gatekeeper, Arrow, but we'll see. Could be a surprise. You never know. So give me just a few seconds. All right. Greetings, greetings. Arrow speaks. Our channel spells our name A-E-R-O. We enjoyed, pardon that Rebecca pointed out one of the quotes that we work with. This was actually created by our channel in a period of intense healing where she recognized a pattern in herself that when she would see choices that she had made that had contributed to a sense of damage in the physical, emotional, mental, or spiritual body, she would grieve. And as we worked with her, what we really wanted her to understand is that there is no waste, you see. You're born into an unconditionally abundant universe. There can be no such thing as waste. What would God create that is wasteful? So it was about shifting the mental concept that there are bad things. Bad is only in your perspective. All that you experience serves you in identifying and creating a bond with your spiritual self. And so by creating this, this quote, if you will, it's a reminder to her and to those we share it with that forgive the judgment that you hold on self. And by forgiving the judgment you hold on self as not good enough, not deserving, not smart enough, not fast enough, not loving enough, whatever your not enough is, let go and let God have that space that you're trying to take over. Yeah. And in that, the reminder of your source, you're truly sourced in unconditional love. It is your home. And when you leave this illusion of an incarnation, it's where you return. And so the journey, and that's what it is meant to be an adventure. But so many people have gotten lost in the vibration of pain, suffering, sorrow, fear, that there's more spiritual intercedence, if you will, more opportunity for reminders. We come, and so many like us come to stand at the edge of you, because we can't interfere with your creation. That's not loving. But we can stand at the edge of you and go, hello, maybe a different choice here would work. Yeah. So we prefer the tools of laughter and fun and play and joy to those of pain and fear and sorrow. So it's your toolkit. When you are birthed into this life, you bring your energetic toolkit with you, and you can put anything you want in it. And we will assure you that every human we've ever watched make the transition, which would be several 100,000, they always put pain and fear in their toolkit. So when we recognized that pattern long ago, we decided to see if we could not begin a process of working to educate consciousness while in the 3D form, that they could let go of those tools and adapt and adopt different ones. So that's part of the reason we're here. We also come because we love this particular person that you call our channel, and we have had many lifetimes of working together. So the basic knowledge that all healing begins with the healing of self. So recognize the patterns that reflect you in the people that come to work with you. And while you're working with them on the side, you can be gaining more insight and information into self. We understand that the focus today is on the crown chakra, which we love to talk about, but we also want to introduce another concept. You understand the primary chakra system, the 7 chakras you've been working with. We also work with additional chakras. You have, in human form, what we call the secondary chakra system. And the reason we want to introduce it is because the crown is one of the portals into that secondary chakra system. So very briefly, we're going to name the secondary chakra system. You have above the crown about a foot And if you are sensitive, your hand's sensitive to energy, if you take and just start pressing, you'll start to feel a resistance about 12 or so inches above your crown. That is the ninth chakra. We'll talk about the eighth in just a moment. And that is the chakra of your higher self. It's good to know you have a chakra that leads you directly to energetically connect to your higher self. Above that, about another foot, is the chakra of spirit. Above that is the chakra of soul. And they're vibrationally activated, just like you've been discovering in this program of cleaning and clearing. The reason Rebecca uses the sound bowls is it creates a vibration. It's not the sound per se, but the vibration as it impacts your energy that does the realignment, gives you a chance to realign. So the eighth chakra, which is also connected to the higher self's energy, resides about 12 inches or so below the soles of your feet, because a lot of people think that energy comes through the crown and drops into the earth. But actually what happens is the higher self feeds energy into the eighth chakra below your feet. It's pulled up one side of the body and then comes back down the other side. And it doesn't matter front or back, there's no differentiation, but it's the creation of a circular pattern. And then the rest of the secondary chakra system are the palms of the hands, every major joint in the body, the shoulders, the hips, the knees, the ankles, and the two chakras in the soles of the feet. There's also one important additional concept in this, which is above the third eye and the crown, about midway, there's like a ring of smaller chakras. We liken it to a string of pearls that fits tight against the skull. And this is these are very sensitive, rather like the palms of your hands. But these chakras are very sensitive to non-physical energy. So when spirit wants to talk to you or wants to reaffirm with you or wants to say, hello, we're here, they will often touch these chakras, and it can feel like someone is moving your hair. Someone is standing close and breathing on you. And in effect, they're not really breathing, but they're flowing energy in an attempt to connect. And we have found that most people that are sensitive enough to understand the concept of healing chakras, these are very active on just to understand exactly what's happening there. It's always interesting for us to ask people what they think it means. We've had some interesting answers over the years. So in the crown, it's so important because we're going to do it sideways. We can't really get the hand this way. So here's the physical energy field, the aura, which encompasses the etheric, the mental, emotional, physical, and the chakra system at the heart of it. But then you have the energy of higher self, and it is in the crown chakra that it overlaps. Now, it's not limited to the crown, but that's the portal, if you will, through the crown, that the energy outside of energy that is sourced outside of the physical dimension, that's the first opening. And with the energy of the higher self, then if you're working with non-physical healers, or you're activating your own sensitivity to working with other people's energies by shifting the vibration of your own chakras, they function both the same. If you're channeling, such as our channel does, it activates your chakras in a new vibrational modality, if you will, an expanded modality. Or you can, for those of you that are talented, you can do that on your own. But what happens is, as those chakras shift into the healing modality, for some of you, it's as if the chakra gets bigger, which can be almost a little uncomfortable until you get used to it, when the crown shifts from being about the size of, what is that, about $50, and then becomes fully activated. It's about the size of a grapefruit. It can be like, what is that, you know? But get used to it, and the more you're used to it, begin to welcome it. The same, a lot of people have a sensation in the third eye, because again, it's your chakras aren't limited to a physical size, but you're used to them at a certain size and functionality. And when they shift, it can feel awkward and funny and almost like you want to shake your head or move it away. So understand that this is a symptomatic of your growth. So a lot of people that we've worked with, as they begin to use the crown more for its interaction with non-physical energy, allowing the guides to speak more clearly, allowing the visions to happen more completely, the knowingness of where the best way to focus your hands-on energy is, or what tonal sounds or what colors would be of assistance to the person you're working with. There's also going on in the background like a passage, like a download of information to you. This is why often, even though you know that you're working with the vibration of love, and you're knowing that the healing work is all based in love, which isn't tiring, that when you get these downloads of information in the midst of this, you can feel a little tired because now you have to take the physical time to like open and process what just was downloaded. And most of this happens beyond your consciousness. So when you have that sense of, wow, that was quite a session, I think I'll just sit quietly for a little bit, blend with my spirit, blend with love, and kind of rebalance myself. That's what's happening. You're getting a chance to digest that download of information. So we're thinking of from 2012 in your time to about 2072. It's about a 60-year epoch of time, a contained set. And a lot of people, that came in as adults into 2012, there was an awareness that something is changing. And we agree something was changing because a lot more energy was being focused on the three-dimensional hologram. In effect, from our perspective, we can't say time because we don't know how to say it in your time, but a long time ago, and you know, if you want to have fun, we'll also say in a galaxy far, far away, but that's just to make you smile. So a long time ago, God created a hypothesis, and that hypothesis was all is love. And from that thought concept, the hypothesis, soul was born. And when soul was born, they decided to take on the work of testing that hypothesis. And one of the things they did in order to do that work is they created higher selves. There's an uncountable number of souls, an uncountable number of higher selves. And the higher selves then said, we need more data. We need more hands-on, so to speak, experience in the 3D world. So they started to create what you call incarnations. So you as a human consciousness have a multitude of incarnations, that vibrate with you because they're born of the same higher self. This is what you would relate to as past lives and future lives. Think of them like a large string of pearls, all of them connecting into one higher self. There's a string, an uncountable number of string of higher selves connected to one soul. So you begin to get an idea of how massive this whole construct called your universe is. And what happens is when you end this lifetime, when you die, when you return home, you stand with soul, and they are looking to gather from you energetically all the experiences of this life. We laugh a little bit. We call you field data researchers because all of your experiences in the life are returned to soul, and they're accumulated over all human incarnation, over all time, as a response in attempting to resolve the hypothesis. So inevitably, when you go home, the first question you want to ask is it answered? Yes. So that is part of what created the quote, as we worked with our channel many years ago, that all you are becoming requires all that you have been. From your soul's perspective, every experience serves you, even the most painful, even the most constrictive, even the most frightening, because it begins to give you an edge of understanding of who you really are. If you think back into some of the most challenging times of your life, this is when you identified and found some of your greater strengths. It wasn't like, gosh, I'm so happy, just hand me a toy. No, Because of the human love affair with pain, it almost inevitably comes linked in some ways, not always, but in most ways, to trauma, to what you consider fear, stress, etc. And there's even instances where incredible pain and fear breaks open a human energy system, and overnight, so to speak, in your language, they become spiritual. But more often it's accumulation that begins to build hope that it could be true, that I am loved and I love good enough. And as that hope builds and you are more associated with the vibration of love, you begin to see pain and suffering in a different way, because you begin to understand it's part of how you got to be who you are now. Whenever we work with a person that's confused, meaning they're holding more pain than they are love, more fear than love, more suffering than love, we ask them, what is it that's most important to you? And in asking that question, they have to find a way to separate the two experiences, the pain and suffering and the love, and we offer them a choice. Part of your healing, your most accomplished healing, is bringing those that you work with to an awareness that they have choice. Choice is the fundamental action of all of your power. Knowing you have choice, taking action upon your choice, says you're stepping into your power. And so even though from your perspective, they're not served by the pain and suffering, you know they would be happier without it, they may not yet be done with this. And so one of the most, we and the crew chief that Rebecca talked about, another entity that is channeled and has a focus on the healing of the human form. One of the lessons we always try to share is that some people aren't ready to be healed. And you have to honor and respect that. And we understand as healers, that is so, so difficult, because well, if you just let go of that, you could be here. And if you're here, you're going to be happier. There's going to be more love, more fun. Maybe you're going to meet your soulmate. Maybe. And they'll be like, yeah, can't quite get there. Because for them, just as for you and so many others, it takes a certain amount of pain to generate movement. And it takes a certain amount of pain to generate momentum. So if you think about the most powerful lessons you've learned in your life, how many of them were grounded in play? How many of them were grounded in humor, love? No, almost inevitably, they're grounded in some aspect of fear and some aspect of pain. So honoring other people's choices is your second rule of healing. The first being all healing begins with the healing of self. The second being, if you must have rules, we're not going to impose them. We're suggesting them as guidelines to follow for self, is that I honor the choice of the one I'm working with. And sometimes that choice will be to not heal, and sometimes that choice will be to die. So as a healer, we suggest the third rule, suggested understanding, is that do your best to understand that death is not an ending. It's not bad and wrong. How many of you are going to get out alive? Yes, another bad joke. But truly, the human condition places a lot of judgment on death. And we could speak for days about the why of that, but let's just agree in the moment that there is that judgment. And so any judgment, any blame, they limit an experience. When you judge something as bad or wrong or damaging, and when you blame, you lock that moment, that event, into a vibration that love can't get to. And so it can never change, can never be released. We're bringing that up because we want you to understand that so many times when you work with other people and you run into something that, like our channel calls the concrete block inside of them, what you're running into is something that they've got locked away with the vibration of blame and judgment. And this is the time to begin to talk to them about that, because the only way that's going to be changed, let alone the only way it will be released, is if they can choose to forgive and release the blame and judgment. This is why when you work with someone and you know you've got their chakras lined up, you know you've got the body balanced, you know that you've got the energy flowing, and 3 days later they're back in as bad or worse condition. It's not that what you did didn't help, didn't matter, wasn't effective. It's not that at all. It's that block, that cement block of energy that they can't release. So we're trying to give you some ideas of things that we've encountered in working with our physical channel and healing physical human beings. The fourth that we would bring to your attention is that from our perspective, almost all damage, disease, injury, discomfort in the body comes from confusion in the emotional body. You have in the human, very basic, you have the aura, and that aura is comprised of the energetic body, etheric body, pardon, the mental body, the emotional body, which rests about 2 or 3 inches from the physical form. But in the physical is a mirror. Nothing is sourced in the physical. This is a mirror. This is the holographic projection. So by the time the holographic projection gets to the focal point of the human form, confusion in the mental and blockage in the emotional can skew how that light can end up creating the physical form. So the symptoms, the roadmap of where the blockages lies in the human form, but the actual blockages will lie in the emotional and the mental forms. So when you don't know anything else to do, someone is coming to you and you're not being able to hear or sense what the discordancy is, all of your tools are not functional. First of all, you're not broken. You're dealing with a person that's that has been hiding from themselves for so long, they now have what we almost call an invisibility to others. We will tell you that these are the most challenging people to do healing with because they have blocked in their emotion, they block their emotional body. What that means is that what happened to them is so traumatic, they can't remember it. If you talk to a lot of adults and you ask them about issues in their childhood, there's a lot of people who just say, I don't remember anything until 9, maybe 11. I think I was in middle school. They have memories. And that's a huge cue that they're one that we would put in what we call invisible class because they do not remember. They truly do not remember. And that creates a lot of chaos and static in the emotional body, which generates great distress and discomfort in the physical form. These are people that generate what a doctor might call non-specific issues, such as anxiety disorders. This would be arthritis, which moves. One day this hand's fine, next day it hurts. One day the spine's fine, next day it hurts. This is soft tissue damage results from this. And it's like a moving target. The point that we're making is that this type of an energy isn't like the block of concrete we're talking about. This type of energy is a moving target because the individual has to keep it hidden from themselves because they don't have any way to respond to the impact of it. And so this becomes a really delicate dance with this person in which you are working to lift their overall vibration. And as little bits of information become aware, you feed them like baby bites and let them digest a baby bite at a time. And over time, then they can begin to remember as they are able to process. So you have in this time, 2012 to 2072, it's like a veil has been taken from those who decided to see more clearly, to feel more clearly, and we identify those that do energy healing among this group. But also, the other thing that's happened is you have this opportunity to work with your spirit, your soul, to re-equip your tool belt. And this is maybe something you're not aware of. In other words, as a human consciousness, you have certain tools available to you. You have the power of choice. You have the incredible gift of imagination, which is the language of soul. We have so many people that don't understand and have discouraged imagination. Yeah, try not to do that, because that can be literally a lifesaver. Because your imagination, your language, your conversation with soul gives you alternative modalities of how to exit a situation. We could speak for days. We just want to introduce the concept. So the power of choice, the power of imagination, huge. Probably the biggest thing in your toolbox is the power of forgiveness. We liken it, if your life's plan was the pattern on a whiteboard, and you knew this part just never worked, don't care for it, always generates discomfort. Forgiveness is the eraser. You wipe that out, and then you can redraw what you want. That's the power of forgiveness. Huge, yes, huge remodeling tool. You've also been gifted with your subconscious mind. Why is that important? Because it's the data repository for everything you've ever experienced in your life. And its job, it has a specific job, which is to create the next moment of your reality. And in that next moment of reality, all of your patterns are made known to you. And the way to change your patterns. So if you don't like something in your life, if you don't like that I'm dealing with a cancer issue, and I'm trying to blame it on DNA, and it's not working, and this blame never works, it's not aligned with love. But then I go into the subconscious, and I can see where it's got messages from when I was in the womb, making an agreement to carry on the DNA coding. Yeah, how about that? Yeah, so don't be afraid to take people into the time before they were born, into their time as a fetus, because there's a lot of information that's programmed into the subconscious at these points. So by becoming aware of what's in the subconscious, and you do that by looking at the manifestation and backtracking into what would someone have to believe to generate this reality, then you can start to use things like meditation, hypnosis, and self-hypnosis to help reprogram what's in the subconscious. This is the exercising of the penultimate gift you bring into this life, and that is the gift of free will. All right. So we're being told our time is at hand. So we went a little far afield of the crown, but we think you have so much knowledge about the crown itself and how it operates. We really wanted to introduce you to the secondary chakra system and also the gifts that you bring. Our final thought, and we will be brief, is that what we talked about, you're being gifted an opportunity to add to the toolbox of what we just mentioned. And for each of you, that will be unique. For some, it will be visioning. For some, it will be the knowing. For some, it will be a combination. Some of you will just develop incredibly strong sensing devices called chakra palm chakras. And some of you, your hearts will continue to expand and expand well beyond your comfort zone, if you will. Because what you're doing is you're becoming broadcasters of compassion. You're becoming broadcasters so that you begin to impact your environment very strongly with messages that are in opposition to so much of the fear and discomfort that's being sown in your world now. Thank you for this opportunity. Truly appreciate this chance to interact and to speak. So do we remain present for questions or we complete, JB?
Go ahead and remain present. I'm going to mute the audience so that they have a question. So if you guys have questions, just have one ready, and we'll ask one at a time if you like to step forward and talk to Eros. Let me start it off with, we've been introduced to a wonderful, another amazing channeler, where he has been removed all the veils of past life, and his name is Matthias de Stefano. So I don't know if you recognize his energy, how he's been sharing
Yeah.
The chakras kind of represent this true universal law. You just mentioned those seven. It's a phenomenal kind of experience. What can you share in the sense of understanding the chakras? And we hear different messages that obviously your chakras closed or it's confused. And of course, you need XYZ type of modality to heal. Obviously, if it's closed, you most likely are not present physically, you passed on. So can you elaborate on that misconception about closed chakras or lower vibration and how does it affect our chakras and ourselves and to our healing potential?
Well, it's a big subject. We will attempt to be brief. So when soul inserts and a person into an incarnation, they do it at the moment when the sperm meets the egg. When the sperm meets the egg, there's a nanosecond of light release, and that is the birth of the heart chakra. The heart chakra forms to create a landing place for the cells that are going to become the start of the body. And so the chakra system is laid out. The 7 primary chakras are laid out. And then there's the development of the fetus, the spine, what you know of as the form of the fetus. So you're born energetically before your physical creation, something to remember. And in that, before you come into the life, you have to create the template, the bucket list that soul approves. This is what you want to work on in the lifetime. This is what you want to focus. 1 or 2 main focus. We're very general. It's not like day 1, you're going to do this. Not destiny, not fate. This is about primary focus in the lifetime. And as you go through the lifetime and you become aware and you become present in certain things. For example, when our channel began to heal shame, which is part of what she brought in, she wanted to heal shame in this particular lifetime. All these other lifetimes where she had experienced it in other incarnations, but not been able to resolve it, kind of went, oh, there's a possibility for healing. I can be released. And so they were drawn into her work. And by doing that, they were then gifted with the opportunity to also be done with shame, lifting that vibration from that particular incarnation. See, past lives are attracted to you because something you're working on, something you need help with, something that you're done with is vibrationally over here going, yeah, I want that too. And the impact of that on the chakras is so diverse. We can't really say, here's the rules, here's the law. But when a chakra, and is not, let us back up for a moment, is not always at the interaction with past lives, it's through chakras. It can actually be in the organs of the body. Pardon. They can also be in soft muscle, tendons, ligaments. It's not necessarily the chakras, because you can be birthed with cellular memory. We could speak for days and days on that subject, but let's just agree that for now, you can be birthed with cellular memory, even though it's a brand new body, even though it's brand new cells, everything is vibration. And if you come with an intent to resolve a certain issue, you will create cellular memory in this new form. So yes, past lives and future lives, yeah, can be impacting a chakra. And the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, the root chakra's functions about density. Without a root chakra, you don't live in this reality because this is a dense reality, and you need an investment in that density of form and vibration to give you the ability to access the body and walk around in this world. But its identity is of one alone. Yeah. The sacral introduces a concept that there might be others. It's a number 2 in terms of there can be me and there can be others, and still all about supporting the body. It's about the sensual, the sensing, and the sensual aspects of the form. It's also a beginning toe into the waters of creating your own reality with the awareness that can be another. The solar plexus is about community. Who am I in relationship to others? Who am I in relationship to others? So those are the three chakras that are necessary for the formation of the body. Spiritual development rests upon that within the heart, the high heart, the third eye, all the way. So past lives will tend to be focused more in the three lower chakras, not always, but those that are focused in the lower three chakras, a lot to do about dying too young in another life, not being able to access any joy in another life, never feeling a sense of belonging in another life. And as you resolve those safety, security, belonging issues in this life, these others are drawn to be released into your vibration. And from that release, then immediately can return whole to source, back home. You can hold past lives in the heart. They're usually in the back of the heart chakra, and they usually resolve around issues of I'm not lovable, or I don't love good enough to have positive impact on others. A lot of issues in the throat, not being heard, not being valued, not being seen, not being valued, total confusion, total loss, no awareness of self. So there's overall patterns for what past life energy is drawn into what chakras. But it should be released or revealed, which is what normally happens, released and revealed at a time when your vibration can support that. Meaning, if you pulled all the past lives out of someone just because you could, and not that any loving entity would do that, but just because you could, you would leave them, the person, without some of the motivation for progress in life that they came in with. In other words, if they have this pain from a past life motivating them, and suddenly that's gone, they may stop making progress towards their dream, their goal. They have to redefine it. So there's pros and cons to this. But yeah, the energy of not just past lives, but future potential lives rests within you for. Was this the answer you're seeking, this information?
The awareness, it's definitely a breadcrumb that I could work with and just process and take a moment to grow.
Yes.
Do we have anyone ready to ask a question?
I would like to share something that you spoke about knowing. And first of all, thank you so much for all your work, for everything that you do for so many. Thank you. One thing that I have a question of, you were talking about knowing, and when you're growing up, you don't remember your experiences. And that's one thing that I have experienced is that, without going too much into detail, I experienced some very traumatic things as a child.
Yes.
And the thing that I feel now is I'm tapping into so much knowing that I can't prove, but I feel it so strongly in my core that I see the proof coming unfolding in front of me.
So why would you require any proof beyond that of your own heart? That is a directive from your society saying you must prove it to my satisfaction. No, all you need is your satisfaction, because your heart will tell you if you are accurate.
Yes, and that's what I feel strongly. But when people say like, you know, what you're saying is not true, I said I can't prove it, but I feel
It's
it.
my truth.
What's that?
It's my truth
Yes.
based upon my experience. My truth is based upon my experience.
Yes.
And at that point, you let go of discord, because you're not asking them to support you. You're simply making a statement. This is what I experienced, and because of that, this is my truth. Where's the conflict? Because you're not. A lot of times, what happens is other people, their belief system, you're in discord with their belief system, and they become defensive. So when you just this is me, this is mine, then you're not poking a sharp stick at their sensitive spots, and they will tend not to become so defensive.
Thank you for that. The one thing that I wanted to clarify what you just said is it's not that the people around me don't believe. It's like I can't see any evidence of it in the physical reality. And it's like I'm tapping into something that is birthed into this reality.
Very possible, because how do we say this? we'll be honest, one of the things we do with people that we work with that have been deeply traumatized as children is we work with them to create their new memories. And because your brain can't tell the difference between what you call actual reality and imagined reality. Remember, we said imagination is one of your most beautiful gifts in this life. And the reason we help them tell a new story is because whenever you focus on your past, you're like, oh my God, I was beaten, I was raped, I was starved, I was, you're right back into that very tight, constrictive energy, and your vibration falls, right? So tell the truth. I am a spiritual being born into a physical world. I had some chaos and confusion. I overcame it. And now I live a happy life. Why do you have to go back to the ugliness when this is who you really are?
Yes.
So you have to let go of your investment that any of this was more valuable than this truth. And in this way, you can reprogram your subconscious. We've done this with our channel and many others. And as a matter of fact, the channel was saying to someone recently, I have to work really hard to remember that original story. And it just doesn't hurt the way it used to. I think that's a big win for me. And we're like, yes, it's a big win. Yeah. So it's your world, Derwan, it's your life. Create it. Obviously, you're not going to say I was the prince and I, owned the castle. And no, it's still your emotional reality. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for that. The last part that I want to share, and this is very important to me because I was asking for others on the other part, but this part is really, really dear to my heart because of my trauma, I went into meditation so deep, and I basically went into my inner world where I have to put effort into imagination. I have to put effort into thought. I don't even have a thought throughout the whole day, hardly ever. And how do I balance that?
Forgiveness. Yeah.
Yes.
You're not the first human to develop this. It's a hiding place. It's a hiding place from the pain of your reality. But the problem with investing your energy in that hiding place, that cave, where there's no need to respond, is your life goes on without you. And so you don't have the opportunity for happiness. You don't have the opportunity for joy or success or love. You're just locked away. So rather begin to create an inner world that gives you a sense of aliveness. Come out of the cave, feel safe enough to come out of the cave to begin exploring your surroundings. Now, it still can be in your imaginary realm, that's fine. But, let there be other living things. Let there be water running. Let there be greenery. Let it be a beautiful place in nature. Let it be inhabited by birds and bunnies and things that will never cause you harm. And eventually, as you become more balanced in your safety and security, trusting self and trusting your subconscious to generate this in the now moment, you'll let go of the imaginary realm and you'll transition into a peaceful place in what you call this reality.
Thank you. And I am much happier than I've ever been.
Yes.
I get what you're saying, that I need to, I guess, play with thought, play with emotion, play with, because that's one thing that, thank you so much. And I hope this helps other people that.
Yes, because it takes trust, you see. It takes trust to play.
Yes.
Think about that. It doesn't take trust to retreat or to barricade. That's safety and security. It takes trust to reach out, to connect in any way, to generate play. So that's a huge step forward for you. So yes.
The inner world is so beautiful, though. I mean, you got to admit that inner world is so beautiful, but thank you so much.
But it's a mimicry of this world. Earth was meant to be paradise. Earth was meant to be paradise, truly. Place of beauty. The goddess gifted Earth with beauty. And so one thing to know, whether you're touched by beauty in the imaginary realm or in this reality, you're touching the vibrational energy of the goddess. And when you acknowledge that, you become visible to her.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I'm served. Thank you.
All right. Something we suggest to all healers, to find the beauty in the person, the situation they're working with, because that automatically will elevate your vibration into the vibration of the goddess.
Just to let you know, we got about 10 minutes left before we call forward your channel. Does anyone else have a question that's present in the Zoom?
No, I'll go ahead if no one else is coming on. Nobody else, JB?
Go for it.
Would you speak your first name?
Yes, I am Patty Mays, and I'm holistic business life coach and spiritual guide, founder of Unit of Soul, a resource center that helps people become interdependent in their personal and business relationships. And I want to say thank you so much, Janet and Rebecca and JB and Michael, for your questions. They just revealed a lot of information that that has been coming through. My question for you, Janet, is when we talk about, I'm a firm believer that no one is broken, nothing is broken, nothing needs to be fixed. It is part of who we are, life, death, life, death.
Balance and alignment, yeah.
Yes, beautiful, yes. And so I would love for you to share what is healed and heal mean to you when there isn't a brokenness. Would you tap into that for
Yes,
us, please?
absolutely. It's everything is vibration. We go to that again, and we liken it to when you're out of balance. Maybe all what you can perceive is just what's in front of you. Your world is about this big because that's all you can. You can't even lift your head and imagine more. This is all you can tolerate. This is all you can deal with. And healing, which brings you back into awareness of your alignment with unconditional love and the forgiveness that comes from the source, allows you to begin to shift your perspective to where now you can see the vista in front of you. And we're not just like talking about landscape, we're talking about opportunity. And it's always about how you perceive self. So if you are so out of balance that you can't even imagine that anyone could love you, you have that very tight, tiny, what am I doing here? I want to go home. I don't belong. And from that place to begin to realize, yeah, this is my life. I was gifted and I have the potential to interact with others, to love and to be loved, completely changes the vibration, completely changes what you can perceive. When you can lift it even further into not just the hoping, but the knowing that you are loved, knowing that you have positive impact, then it becomes a limitless vista that you can perceive. So you have so many gifts, you don't even know how to name them, let alone how to claim them. And this shift in vibration that enlarges your perspective also enlarges the giftings that you can now learn to identify and use. So we think that is our explanation of the impact of healing, bringing you into balance and shifting the potential of what you can perceive.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Arrow. And also to add to that, Arrow, my question for you is about Janet. Would you call Janet a healer? And there's that term is used sometimes flippant, sometimes you have true healers, and I always believe that we are the cure that ails us. We are our own healer. I agree with what was talked about earlier.
We understand there can be some ambiguities and confusion of the term. Our channel, our beloved channel, has become in this last year, her processes continues to expand because love is an ever expanding energy. Mm-hmm. And her process now is that when she walks this world, when she sits in a room, when she meets with people, her vibration is such and her allowance for other people is such that she acts like a sponge to pull in negativity out of balance situations. And she doesn't have any ownership of them. She just observes them, doesn't own them, and then they can be released. So people that just, we love to take her to the airport. And she just sits in the airport And the noise level goes down. People that are afraid of flying suddenly aren't so afraid. People that are frantic and they're late and they just become calm. That's what we mean by she's just walks, you know, she just, her presence. And that's a different form of healing. We would call it she also does what you call hands-on healing, where she uses the senses of the palms and gets feedback from different non-physical healing entities. So yeah, she has a variety of healing gifts, some of which she's opened and some of which still remained wrapped, waiting for her to get excited about opening them.
Awesome, thank you. And one last thing, a personal experience is that in the past, and I still, but personally here in my studio office, I channeled Mother Mary and Kuan Yin, and Kuan Yin is the laughter. Some people think, oh, why is she laughing, right? Well, Kuan Yin steps in and she's just full of play and laughter, and Mother Mary would come in and she's just, you know, Mother Mary's kind of stern and she just has, you know, she presents her information. I'm known as the candid coach because I'm so direct and candid with my word, and I live what I practice, what I preach, and I always, my greatest joy is to see the best, to seek the best, and to really help draw out when the person is ready to see themselves and not hide from who they really are as this vibration, right? This very high vibration. Yes. So I just wanted to say thank you so much. And the point in mentioning that I channel these people and others, one quick thing is that my father channeled, and he taught me very early on as a little girl to embrace that gift that I came with, because I see the world so differently than some, you know, most people that I have come across. And my brother would always say, you know, you live backwards, you're so opposite than all of us, you see things, and it took him a while to really understand who I was. And as someone who needs, you know, as an introvert, I come into I need that time to just really rejuvenate, because once I'm out, I am fully out, right? And anyway, I just wanted to share that. I stopped channeling for a while for others. I used to channel people's bodies and give them messages, very similar to what Rebecca and JB do. And it's such a beautiful process. And I so enjoyed listening to you remind, just it rippled out to everyone to remind us of who we are, to be all of who we are in all the doing. So thank you so much.
Thank you. And you know, when you do the work that you do, you're constantly in the vibration of unconditional love. So your alignment process can simply be still in the moment and receive. And by doing that between your sessions, then you're completely refilled energy-wise, and completely rebalanced, even in that one moment, 1 minute of being filled with the vibration of unconditional love. So at the end of your day, you're not worn out, you can go and do more. So enjoy this life.
I love that. Thank you so much. I call it the maze method. I always say one full breath, one whole breath can save your life. And that's how okay, cleared. All right, I'm done. I'm ready for the next adventure. So thank you.
All right. So do we have a moment to speak to Rebecca?
Yeah, we're going to extend time. So anyone that's here, we apologize about not keeping the time commitment because there's so much to be shared.
She wanted to speak to
me. We have an opportunity to speak to Rebecca at another time. So we can release and bring the channel back for you. Give us just a moment.
Hear her talk to Rebecca.
She's back. So that was my arrow.
Yes.
They
Yeah.
laugh when I call them my arrow, like they could belong to anyone.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, Arrow and Janet. That was
Yeah.
amazing and so beautiful. And I know in channeling, sometimes we don't always remember everything that took
Yes.
place.
Yeah, I'm called
And-
a conscious trance channel, which means
Yes, and
I got
that's
nothing except I get the joy of, and I can't even tell you where I go when I channel. That when I come back, it's just like I'm in bliss, and it stays that way for.
Thank you so much, Janet.
I love that.
Guys.
Much. We gotta get off. And I didn't mention who we are. We are Alice and Michael. We are the founders of Samadhi Sea of Wisdom Meditation School. And we just want to say thank you, Janet, and thank you to Arrow, your channel, and all the beautiful beings that share that one space with all of us.
Yes.
So thank you so much for stepping into that, because courageously stepping into that, working on yourself, doing everything that you do. Thank you, Rebecca and JB, for this space. Thank you, Patty. We just love you so much. And we got to prepare for what we're going to do. So we love you so much. We love all of you, whether we know you, whether we don't know you. We hold the space of love for all of you. And we hold that space of love together, because that's the real abundance, baby. So thank you so much.
Nice to meet you. Looking forward to the next opportunity.
Yes, we will connect with you on Facebook.
Yes.
Thank you. Blessings. We really want to stay. Maybe like 5 minutes.
I can relate.
At this time, let's get
Gotta go
off.
at 8:30, so we'll stay as long as we can.
Okay. So I'm really, when JB and Rebecca said they were creating this group, I thought, well, duh, why haven't we done this before? It was like, of course, this is amazing. Of course, it's going to be wonderful. So yeah, I'm excited to be part of a group that's got this kind of focus, because I'll be honest, my private sessions lately, well, always since I've done private sessions where I channel for other people, I'd say it ranges like 40 to 60% people that do this work, because it's easy to get out of balance if we don't have a process, and if we, in depending what we're being presented with and what's happening in our personal life. And, you know, it's like, I also work with, it always cracks me up. I have psychologists and psychiatrists that come to me also. And the commonality that I sense through all of these people is, you know, the pain and trauma of often childhood or adolescence. And so this idea that we're supposed to know why we haven't created it yet. We haven't lived there yet. And to take out that we're supposed to already know how to do this. Yeah, I haven't been to that moment yet. I'm still in this one. It really helps. So having a group like this to be able to feel safe, to bring up things that aren't working in your healing practice, or even in your work with self, or even in your connections, I think this is just so needed and so valuable. I'm grateful it's begun.
Yes. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for getting this going for everybody.
Yeah.
It's just like, it came to me. It was just that messages. I kept getting messages, and like, you know, like when Janet, when you were channeling arrows, like, you know, when the guys are like, hello, hello. I was getting that like, hey, we need to get this started now. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, and I have to say the timing is right. This is October, such a challenging time. October to mid-November, it's just like, I feel like I should be ducking and weaving. It's, man.
Yeah.
I keep reaching for my happy place over and over again.
Yeah, and that's the message I got. I need to do one in October, one in November and December to prepare us
because
for what could come.
I think it's because creating this group, you planted a seed of hope. So for all of us, even when we're having a really difficult day, maybe we can't access the group, but even the idea that it exists and there's other people doing this work, and that if we really, 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 really need them, we can reach out and get a confirmation or an answer. That just is a life changer for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
When I first started working and my access to spirit was intermittent, it was the fact that I knew I had done it once that birthed that same kind of hope. I can do it again. It's a possibility. And that it became a bridge in my work that got me from where I was to where I am.
Mm.
Yes.
Good stuff.
So with that, I'm just going to do a quick ho'oponopono to end our session for today. So everyone just take a nice deep breath. And I'll let JB take it away.
A very ancient saying that, like Errol mentioned, one of the greatest tools we can use is the tools for forgiveness. And this is one of my favorites that we share and we apply. And I'm sure there's plenty of others, but this is what works now for us. Let's begin. I love you.
I love you.
I love you.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
I am sorry.
I am sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
I love you.
I love you.
I am sorry.
I am sorry.
Please forgive me.
Please.
Please forgive me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I release you.
I release you.
I release you.
I accept you.
I accept you.
Shake it off. At this time, all those on Facebook, thank you for joining us. Maybe you could join us tomorrow on our little bonus session. No interaction, just the 7 chakra bowls. They asked us, when can we work together? And we're going to do this with 7:30 to 8 p.m. tomorrow. So please join us live or catch the recording when you can. And we're going to end the live here.
7:30 a.m.
Great. Thank you.